Hey, what's going on, everybody? Right now, the prices of crypto are continuing to dump lower and lower. I mean, Friday we were down, 7% average, right? Saturday, another 7%. And now here we are Sunday, right? So that's a lot of selling in a short amount of time, which is to me an exuberant move, which is not going to be sustainable. I mean, eventually we're going to obviously have a bounce coming in through here. And we got some good news, but we also have some bad news, and we're going to touch on that. But before I get into all that, listen to this.
They think it's good. Who knows? Maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion. But how do you? They think it's good. Who knows? Maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
That right there is probably the biggest statement I've ever heard of a president ever saying that. That is massive. And he said it in a little jokingly manner, right? He kind of downplayed a little bit. He kind of said it in a way that's kind of joking. But people do that when they want to sort of shed light on the truth, right? If he came out with a public service announcement and did it all, formal, it would be very serious and very not so taken lightly. But if you kind of come out and throw a little smirky comment, right? A little Bitcoin, a little crypto, a little this, a little that, right? That's a huge statement right there. And why is that so big? I'll tell you why. So we do know they fixed the price of gold, right? And why am I saying this? The crypto prices are down. What does this have to do with anything? Because if there's anything that gives you a little bit of hope, any shred of conviction to hold crypto, it's that statement right there, right? We got less than 100 days before Trump takes office. And he's talking in language that the most radical people in the world don't even talk, right? He's talking about taking the Bitcoin stockpile and using that to pay off the national debt. I mean, you don't joke about that stuff. That is a huge, massive statement. And I believe that was the plan all along. And I thought about it for a second, and I thought about gold, right? Remember back in the Bretton Woods system when they were trying to fix things, right? I think it was during World War One or World War Two. But anyway, right here, $35 trillion in debt. Maybe the plan all along was to pay off the debt using crypto by having the Bitcoin price fixed, just like how gold was fixed, in order to ensure exchange rate stability and prevent competitive devaluations. Well, what's happening right now? We're in a competitive situation, right? China's devaluing their currency. The Fed is devaluing its currency as well, right? There's currency manipulation wars, and all that does is makes banks more competitive, but all the stress goes on we the people, okay? And how do you fix it? You can't. You can use gold or you can use crypto. There's nothing on planet Earth that can fix the problem we have today, and unless it's gold and or crypto, okay? So if people are feeling the fear right now, oh, Theta broke the low. Yes, it did, right? But there's good things about it. I'm going to jump into the price of Theta, XRP, Bitcoin. Theta, by the way, has bullish divergence on the 8-hour chart. We'll talk about it, but you know, I'm coming out swinging right here because I want people to know that when there's a stormy cloud over your head, a lot of times people are trying to look through the fog and they can't see. And then, you feel the pain strong enough, right? And by the way, nobody should have pain, right? If you have pain, you're doing it wrong, right? I'm just, for people who get a little bit more emotionally involved, and you should. I mean, that's your money, right? But at the end of the day, you got to have the courage, the strength, and the conviction, because only the strong will survive, right? And but we're gonna jump into that. But let me continue here with this. Basically, again, pay off the national debt using Bitcoin, just like how gold was fixed in order to ensure exchange rate stability, prevent competitive devaluations, and promote economic growth. That's exactly the narrative they used to fix the price of gold, and that is exactly what they could use for the narrative to fix the price of crypto, right? And I'm not saying it's got to be Bitcoin, but what my thought is, what if it's Bitcoin, a basket of currencies like the SDR, right? It's a basket of currencies. So instead of, just being Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, right? Maybe, the top 30 big dogs in crypto could facilitate into that, basket of currencies, right? So goes on here. What would the price of Bitcoin have to be in order to pay the national debt? Well, if the U.S. government has 200,000 Bitcoin stockpile divided into our national debt, that would put Bitcoin at $175 million a Bitcoin. That is insane. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's just too ludicrously and insane. Like, holy Jesus, Mary and Joseph, right? That's just insane. So what would most likely be the case is to have a basket of cryptos where maybe XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and other top dogs will come into play, right? Just like the SDR. Continuing on, it says, I've always wondered how Trump will battle the national debt. I've always had a hunch, but now this little smirky comment of his sheds some light on how they might do it. Otherwise, they will have to default, which would cause more chaos. But crypto alongside gold somehow, some way will destroy the national debt and reset our currency. The most evil thing in our society is the US dollar and our national debt. It is one thing that causes the problem of all problems. And I agree 100%. So, crypto is having a pretty bad weekend. I mean, probably one of the worst weekends it's had in a very long time. But when I look at the stock market, it's actually not too bad. I mean, look at the Dow. We got a three-wave shape, right? Not bad at all. When I look at the S&P 500, it's a little bit more of a sharper decline, but still we got a three-wave shape in there. It's not so bad, right? So, you can look at this as 1, 2, I would say 3, 4, and 5, or 3, 4, and 5. It looks like a 5-wave move with a 3-wave pullback, right? And we're back testing these areas in here. So I would imagine a bounce would come in here from a technical level on the stock market. But let's move on to what we really want to talk about, which is the price of Bitcoin, and we're going to get into the other cryptos as well. So from a technical level, right, crypto, from Bitcoin's perspective, there is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with Bitcoin at all, right? There's nothing wrong yet, right? So again, we have this, so we understand here, let's just zoom out a little bit. So what has been the main idea of this channel? The main idea has always been that this is a wave 2 and this is a wave 4. And when you look at this and you look at this, it's in the same degree. And that's important, right? When you look at this and you look at this, that is in the same degree. So what is missing from all of that? This. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the idea on the macro, on the big macro chart. That's the idea. Okay. So the problem is, how do you navigate this fourth wave? Now, there's a couple different ways it could occur, right? And one of the biggest ideas that we've always had was is basic, right? We have A, B, C. Okay, and that A, B, C is finished, and now what we have here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And that 5-wave move is wave 1, and now we have an A, B, and that's an extended C, right? And that is wave 2. So, and we came down to retest the bottom of these order blocks here. And we also, let's see what the Fibonacci retracement says. Okay, look at that. We pinpoint nailed the 786. Like, perfectly. Okay? So, that should be the low. If that's not the low, then this is the wrong count. This has to be the low. And I know I said that yesterday with the altcoins. But the count has changed with that. So I'll get into that. But the most important thing, the thing that can save us is Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin breaks the low, then yes, obviously that's going to be a big problem, right? But I still think even if it did break the low, it's still a fourth wave, right? So what I would imagine this would be is a W, X, Y, X, Z, right? Or you can say that this is an A, B, C. This is a flat. And now we're going down in another A, B, C. And then go up, right? So what we would have is we would have 3, 3, and 3, or 5, right? So it would be a little bit more complex. So A, B, this is a flat here, remember that. And then C. I've never showed that count before. And I did not want to share it because I felt like, I'm not going to share it until I feel like I should, right? So if we come up in 3 and then we start coming back down and we break this low, then I would imagine we're coming back down to 50K, right? Because we should have went to 50K here, A, B, C, all the way down to 50K. If we would have did that, we could have been on our way. But it kind of came up in this flat, and now we have this working our way correctively back down here. So all in all, when you remove all the noise, what is it? You're basically flagging out, right? I mean, this is you're flagging out in here. Boom, 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 right? And when you zoom out, it looks like a normal correction. It looks normal. Now look at this right here. That's kind of what this is, right? Now if I flip the chart upside down, you can kind of see it here, right? You can kind of see the same thing. What happened? We had our flag here, right? A, B, or W, X, Y, X, Z. Now it's trashy, and I know that's not the count, but you can see the structure in there, right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 hits, and then we continued higher, right? So it took a double or even sometimes a triple correction, right, to fix that. So when I flip it upside down, you can see that was a bear flag. Now if we come back over here, is that what's happening? It could be, right? That could be what's happening here. So again, let me just reiterate. My count all along has never changed, and it still won't change unless we break this low, right? We came down to the order block here, right? And I could just extend this along. That's our support right here, right? You can see support, right? And we broke out of it, and now we came down to back test it. So when I zoom in to the 4 hour, I mean, let's turn on the RSI here. We're getting oversold, but I really like this hammer candle. Look at this. The 4 hour candle is going to end in about 35 minutes. Probably it will already end by the time you watch this video. Okay, and it's going to end hopefully on a bullish hammer, right? And this is a really nice looking bullish hammer. But you can say, well, we had a hammer here. Yeah, but it's not as good as this one. You can say, yeah, but we still had a hammer. Yes, but we didn't have 5 waves though, right? Because remember, we want 5 waves in here. So we have, let's see, let me go to the 30-minute chart here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and then we have what looks like 3 and 4, and then it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an extended 5th, because the 3rd was so short. The extent, that should be the count. That's what, hopefully that's what it is. And you can see, look at that 30-minute engulfing candle. Man, I missed that too. I wasn't paying attention at the time. Let's see, I zoom in here. Wow, look how powerful that is. That's a pretty powerful reversal right here. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, it's looking pretty decent, and you could kind of see here, kind of went down, and then we kind of bottlenecked in here, and then we hit the low. So if we have another low, then what I would say then is, if I zoom in here to the 10-minute chart, I would say that 1, 2, all of this is 3, this is 4, and then we get 5. I mean, but that's it. That's it. That's all, you know. If it goes even below that, then we got to just take another step back and reevaluate here. But I think there's a good chance here that Bitcoin, the lows in. We hit the 786. Now, again, according to this count, right? Because we have a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, right? Or you could say 1, 2. All of that's 3. This is 4. This is 5. And this is an A wave. We got to come up in B, and then we come down for C. A, B, C, and then go, right? So that's going to be the big thing, right? Because again, when you're at the top, at the 5th wave, it's pretty easy. When you're at the bottom of a 5-wave move in A or C, it's also pretty easy, right? But when you come up in a B wave, and then you get right in the middle here, right? Because that's where I'm targeting, right? Somewhere in here, around 62, 63, even up to 64K. When we get back there, that's going to be the hard part, right? Because do we go up in 3 or do we go up in 5? That's going to be the big decider, right? So if we go up in 3, then we need another 5 down and then go. So that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin, there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing everything it needed to do. Bitcoin showed up to the party. And with that being said, also XRP, there's nothing wrong with XRP. XRP also looks perfect. I mean, it looks beautiful. Why? Because look, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. We have a flat here. I mean, it looks perfect. I mean, perfect. I mean, you know, it. So, is it finished though? Well, that's the thing. It might not be finished, right? Because right now, yesterday was a flat. Today it's an expanded flat. So, I mean, XRP has a lot of wiggle room here. If I put the retracement up, I could put it to the top, but then I would be putting it at the top of the B wave. I want to put it at the top of this wave here. And you can see we almost had a 50% correction. So we haven't even had a 50% correction, let alone a 618. So as long as XRP stays above 45 to 47 cents, I say we're doing really, really good. So that would kind of be the buy zone if you wanted to go long, right? Between 45 and 50 cents. Now, it could be finished now. I don't know. But that's where the buy zone is, right? And the thing about the difference between, Bitcoin and XRP, they both have a very impulsive 5-weight move. Now, when you compare that to something like ADA, I mean, it doesn't look that beautiful. It looks a little bit wonky, right? But even ADA didn't break the low. Now, if we look at Theta, this is the bad one, right? I mean, this is terrible. But there's actually some good things about it, okay? The bad thing is you can see how overlapping it is. You can see how it's not like Bitcoin was more like impulsive. This one's more like, kind of choppy, right? So it doesn't have as much torque to the upside, right? And we broke the low. That is the one thing I did not want to see. And, we were right here yesterday, and I said it kind of looks like it wants to break the low. We're teetering on the edge. Basically, the title of the video was, "Are alts on the verge of, getting destroyed here?" Right? And so now the only thing I would say is that this could, I'll get into that in a second, but continuing here with Theta, if I turn on the RSI, like let's go to the 8-hour chart here. Okay, let's turn on the RSI. Look at that. We got beautiful bullish divergence here on the 8-hour chart. And it's pretty strong too. So you could see right here, we had a low with a lower low, right? And this has a low with a higher low. So we have classic bullish divergence, and that's what you want to see between a fourth and a fifth, right? Or between the third and the fifth. Okay, so the original idea here was that this is important, because if you're a Theta holder, you're not gonna want to miss this. So my original idea from the beginning, let me go to this Theta chart here. Okay. From the beginning of when I started talking about Theta, has always been, since we were down here at 64 cents, was for the price to get up into the retracement levels. Those retracement levels are a little bit subjective, but essentially the retracement levels was right about here. So from the bottom of this range to the top of this range. And you can see we barely hit it, right? So technically it was there, right? Now, is it finished, right? That's the thing. So technically we had a retracement. We had a proper retracement, right? And but, I'm not here for a retracement, right? So now, what do we have? Well, obviously, we had our Wyckoff accumulation, right? We had a 1 2 1 2. I don't like it as a 1 2 1 2 anymore, simply because the second 2, look how much longer it is than this one. Now, it is a little bit subjective on the rules of alternation, meaning, a wave 2 can be a little or a lot bigger than another one, but you kind of want it in the same degree. But essentially, the idea has been we broke out, right? And now we're back testing. Right here, you could see these order blocks here, this one here, this one, and a little bit of this one, right? And we came right below it, but then we shot straight up. So it looked like we're back testing it. But now we're sort of back below the line, right? So if I move the line lower, now we're back testing very deep. We don't want to be back testing this deep, right? So again, the original idea was that this is, an impulse, right? Impulse. We had a flat, we had another impulse, and this is an ABC. Now, here's the thing. Can you say that's an ABC, right? A, B, C. That was an ABC. But now we have this, and now it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? So it looks like a 5-wave move to the downside, which means you would expect a 3-wave move to the upside and then a continuation down. So here's the thing. If you're hodling theta like I am, how do you play it? Right? That's what I'm going to get into probably as we start, retracing, right? Because anytime you have a move down, we've been going down, 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 down. Eventually, this thing is going to reverse. This wave will, mark my words, this wave will end and we will reverse. Now, here's the thing. Do we go up in 5 or does this go up in 3? That's going to be the big thing. And that's why if you want to, where you click subscribe on my channel, if you click join and go to the crypto general, I'll be going over, not now, but when the time comes, going over my game plan of how I'm going to play this. Because really there's a couple ways this could happen here. And I'm going to get to the bright side in a minute. I know it doesn't sound that good, but just bear with me. Is if this goes up in 3, then I'm expecting another 5 like this. So A, B, C. And this would be the low. And then we would go higher, right? So what that would be, right, is sort of, a 3, right? And then we have 3. And then I'm looking for a 5. So basically a bigger retracement. 3, 3, and then 5, which gets us up here, right? But then the trouble hasn't ended, right? It's only beginning at that point, because then, then we would want to go into reaccumulation and then finally break out, right? So kind of go sideways in here. So we have a rise, crash. All of this is a retracement. Then we go down into reaccumulation. Then we go sideways. Then we break out, right? Flagging out in here before breaking out. And that's a long and grueling road the way I've drawn it, right? Now, I'm not saying that's the way it has to be. Now, again, Bitcoin can save the day. If Bitcoin can get that 5th wave, then, which I'm very much counting on and looking forward to, then theta can get a retracement. So if you're looking at your portfolio thinking, man, I if I can go back in time, I would have sold here or here or here or whatever, right? For me, I'm a hodler. I don't care about what happens in the short term. But that being said, my trades, right? I would consider. Obviously, I've been dollar cost averaging in here. So what I would do is I would wait for it to come back to this level. People can't imagine it coming back. They can't conceive it, right? There's no way it's going to come back. We're going down, down, down. They can't even envision it coming back. Believe me, it's going to go back. I'm telling you right now, right? Somehow, some way, we're going to come back and retrace. Where are we going to retrace? Probably about to $1.90, right? My $1.90 target is still in play. It's still there. Okay, so, and I'm just only beginning with theta here. So just keep with me here. So I'm going to put this right here. You can see all those closes, and then I'm going to stretch this along here. Okay, So here's the thing, right? We have a shoulder. This could be a head. If we start coming back up here, that's going to be a massive shoulder. And if we get back, here's the thing, if you know, and I'm going to go through this in the memberships as well, but more in depth as the time comes. But I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of a forefront here, kind of like a teaser here, and I'm still gonna do it, right? But if we hit this line and get rejected, that's going to tell me something. If we go up in 3 and get rejected, that's going to tell me something. If we go up in 5 and we have a 3-way pullback and then we come back up to this, now that's going to tell me something even better, right? Because I want to see this thing turn into an inverse head and shoulders, which is going to require the price coming back up to about $2.40, then swoop around. So we have a shoulder, we have a head, and then we have another shoulder, right? Given that the low is in, what would be the measured move of that? That would put us at almost $5. Yeah, exactly $5. So $5 theta is very, very likely if we can get back up here, okay? So if that was the case, and we came up there, then what would be the count? Well, this would still be an ABC, and you can say, well, how is that if we broke the low? Because here's the grand finale. Ready? Here we go. Look at this. I'm gonna go to the 4-hour chart. So it's all about how we count the C leg, right? So if this is 1, 2, 3, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3. And then the idea is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our idea. That's the main idea, right? So we have an A, B, C. Okay. But what if that wasn't the count? It's the same count, but it's a little bit different, okay? So what do I mean by that? All right. So here it is, right here. So we have A, or we have 3. Let's see. 3 there, we have 3 here, and instead of this being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of that, now look at this. 1, 2. This is still 3, but this is a flat, guys. That's what we didn't see, okay? I was looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a 5-way move with a 3-way pullback. Let's go. But no, that's not what it is. It can't be, because we broke the low. So what the hell is it? Again, look at this. We have 1, 2, right? And this is still 3. But instead of 4 being here and 5 being here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 over here and 5 over here. See, now we're getting better here. Now it's starting to make sense, okay? Now I don't like how big it is, but it makes sense based off a lot of factors. One of them being, how do you explain this correction here? Right? And there's a lot of different ways you can count it. But I like to, this channel, I like to keep it simple. 5s and 3s. 5s and 3s. 5s and 3s. And, you know, you can see some charts, they're incredibly complex, and I don't want to make it confusing for people, right? That's why my charts are always clean. They're always clear. There's not 1,000 different lines. There's not this line and that line and this line and that, you know, I mean, you look at people's charts and it's just cluttered, and it's like, what am I looking at, right? And most people can't really dissect a chart fully, and when you have all these things on a chart, it makes it even more confusing. So I'm trying to keep it as clear as I can. Okay, so basically what we have here, guys, and this is why flats are very challenging, and flats are very And I did talk about the possibility of it being a flat, but I ignored it, and that was my fault, right? I did mention it briefly. I should have taken a little bit more serious approach to it. But essentially, what a flat is, right, is we have 3, right, and then we have 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a 3, 3, and a 5. Okay, if I flip it upside down, you can kind of see the flat a little better, right? Your mind can see it better. So 3, 3, 5, right? And where have we seen a flat before? Well, back over here. So this is the same exact thing is happening, but the reverse of it, right? So for example, we beautifully nailed this flat. You can go back, check out the videos around New Year's. And so we have a 3, we come up for 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a 3, 3, 5. That is that's a running flat because we didn't break the low. Perfect. Which then led to a 1, 2, which then led to a massive pump to the upside, right? So this was a wave 2, right? This is a wave 4, right? So again, the original idea, right? Because this is a big change, okay? And since it's such a big change, I'm going to be talking about it quite a lot here because I don't want people to be confused that I'm still on board with what we were talking initially. So again, the original idea was A, B, C. And this is a 1 and this is a 2. And now we're going higher. That cannot occur because this wave took the low. That's why I said yesterday, this is super close, right? And unfortunately, we broke the low. But so this is no longer an ABC the way we counted it. It's still an ABC. Just 1, 2, 3. This is a complex 4. So all of this was a wave 4. And that's the thing about flats. They're very tricky, right? Because when they break the low, they make you think, okay, that's the final wave. And when they come up and then take the high again, they make you think, okay, that's the first wave, right? But in actuality, this whole thing from here to here to here, that whole thing was a 3-wave move. And that whole thing was a wave 4. And this is our wave 5, guys. So if we need a wave 5, then that means we need 5 and 5. But we don't have 5 and 5. We only have 3. So look at this. So now here's where things get really dicey, okay? So if this is our 5th wave, remember, this is wave 4 right here. Wave 4. And this is wave 5, okay? But remember, we need 5 and 5, just like how we need 5 and 3. So right now, what do we have? We have 3. So we have 1, 2. Instead of this being an ABC, this is a 1, 2. This is 3, right? And then we're going to get 4. And then we come down and get 5. And that's going to be the ultimate, hopefully ultimate low. And that will take us to the upside, right? So then what we have here, guys, is when you count it just in wave terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 waves, okay? So when you have 7, that's usually it. That's exhausted, right? Because again, we've been falling since what was that here? Since March. So March, April, May, June, July, August. We've been falling for 6 months, 6 months down, 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 down. This is a 6-month correction. This is a long correction, okay? So what that does to people's psychology, what that does to sentiment, what that does to basically everything is it sort of, puts this dark cloud over people that we're never going to escape, right? We're just going to keep going down, 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 down. And so without further ado, this is my new count, okay? So just by, and it's crazy, isn't it crazy how just one day breaking one low can change an entire 6-month count. That's how much power it has, right? So if I go ahead and put this channel here, and by the way, this is a corrective. I'm gonna overlap a few waves, but I want as much touches as I can get here. There we go. So when you look at this, you think, man, that looks horrible, and it does. But you can see how this right here, look how impulsive that is. That is impulsive. But then when you look at this, right, it's overlapping up, down, right, up, down, right? So it's overlapping. So this is impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective. See how they're overlapping? Okay, so, and it's in a channel, and you have 7 waves, and you have an A, B, and you have 1, 2, 3. This is our flat, 4, and 5. So all from here to here is our C leg, A, B, C. So we're really, really close to a bottom now. Now, I didn't want to come out and say this yesterday because I wanted to wait and see what would happen. But now that we broke the low, it's just not what I wanted to see. Let me go to this chart now. But look at that. We got a pretty strong impulse off this bottom here. So I think the wave 3 is done. And I think we're in wave 4 now of that degree here. So I'm looking for something like this, like that, and then I want to see it come down and make another low, right? So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get bullish divergence here, and that's where I would add to my, I'm adding to my position now. I added yesterday, right? Because I didn't know we were going to break the low or not. You just don't know. But now that we did, now we can invalidate this as 5, right? It was 5, but it was part of a C wave, okay? It was part of a C wave. Again, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 3, 5. This is a flat, okay? And now part of our 4, and now we're in 1, 2, 3. We're at the bottom of 3. This is 4, this is 5, right? So let me go to the 2-day chart here. So now that we're very, very close to the bottom being in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once this bottoms out, and once we start on our way, because this is not the time to be selling, right? Not financial advice. Again, I could be totally wrong, right? I was wrong on this being a wave 1 and an ABC. But just because you're wrong on a count doesn't mean the whole count is wrong, right? The whole count, we had the right idea, we just had the placement off, right? Because again, flats are tricky. Who would have thought that was a flat, right? It's a little tricky. So now the big quest is once we bottom out and once we start moving our way back up, because I believe we will get back up here. We're going to come back up here. Okay, so You can count on that, right? I'm making a prediction, actually. If we don't come up here, I'm gonna be so surprised. Like, obviously, it would take a massive black swan, deep state, stock market, Armageddon, right? But other than that, anytime, again, if you have this move down, right, you're gonna have either a three-way move up or a five-way move up. Chances are it's going to be a three, and it's going to get us back into the retracement levels. Because again, this is point A, this is point B. We still need our middle ground here. So if you want to abandon crypto, the best place to do it is in a retracement. It's gonna, it's gonna be long, it's gonna be grueling, but you have no other option unless you sell the bottom, right? The crypto market makers want people to sell the bottom, sell the bottom, sell the bottom, right? And then once enough people sell the bottom, that's when they take it up. So the reason why I'm still very, 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 very hopeful with Theta is, number one, obviously, we're getting bullish look at that. We got triple bullish divergence on the 2-day chart. That is bullish, right? I mean, you could say technically that we don't need 5 in here. I mean, we already had 5, right? Let's see. Is there any possibility that that could be the case? No, not really, because there's nothing that, I need a big wave like this. If we get a big wave like this, and then we come down and we get 5, and then we sweep the low, that's where I would be interested in loading up a lot. So yeah, I say we're very, very close. And the reason why I'm so hopeful on Theta is because we have 2 coins that are actually 3, which is total 3, Bitcoin, and XRP. So let's go to total 3 now. Did total 3 break the low? No, it didn't. So total 3 is still looking really, 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 really good, right? Total 3, obviously, I mean, it's not so good, but it's pretty extended, but it still hasn't broken this low, right? So what is the idea here with total 3? It's the same idea with Theta, really. We have our channel here, right? Overlapping structure. We have basically this bull flag here. And this idea is still 1, ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, all of that's 3. And now this is wave 4, right? We already know that. And then we want wave 5. So I believe that wave 5 is going to come. The question is, just like Theta, is wave 4 done? Well, it would appear so, right? Because we have 3, 3, and it looks like that could be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a 3, 3, 5. So that if a 3, 3, 5 is an ABC. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an ABC pullback, and that ABC pullback came really, 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 really close to breaking this low, and it could still break the low. Now here's the trick, right? We don't have to know right now, but what we're gonna want to do is wait and see how this plays out here, right? Do we get 3? And then we come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or do we have a 5-wave move off of this ABC, right? Because I like it, but then I don't like it because it came, let's see, where did it go to? It went beyond, yeah, it went to the very last fib, to the 886. So if we go any lower, I mean, we're threatening to break the low here. So, and we don't want the daily candle to close below these daily candles over here. So we came very, 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 very close. So we just had liquidation also you know, I think minor capitulation. We also had a lot of leverage wiped out, right? So I think, you know, we had 3 days. Friday, pound, pound, down, down, down. Saturday, massive dump, down, 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 down. Sunday, again, 3 days in a row, just getting pounded. I think, I think that is basically we're getting exhausted to the downside, is what I'm trying to say. So, total 3 still looking really, really good. I want to see a massive impulse out of here. If we get an impulse out of here, then obviously this is going to be a 1-2, and then we get that third wave. But if we break the low like Theta did, then I'm looking at it like basically a combo correction here. So boom, 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 and boom. Something like that. Right? Or heck, it could even be, if we come up like this in 3, that could be your X, and then we still need Z, right? So there's definitely a lot of work here to be done, but we're gonna know our answer because we're gonna see how this wave goes back up, right? That's what we need to pay attention to. Also, you know, you got this sort of neckline here, right? And then you also have kind of like a shoulder here. You got a head here. Let's see if we get another shoulder, right? Measured move approximately gets us back to the all-time high. That's exactly what we want. So we'll see how that plays out. But total 3 still looking really good. So again, Bitcoin is totally fine. Total 3, it could be better. XRP is perfect, right? So let's go back to Bitcoin real quick, and we'll just stay this. Look at this. Let's go down to the 4-hour here. So it kind of reminds me of what was going on over here. See how, you know, Bitcoin likes to do that, where it comes down and then it kind of goes into this little channel here, and then it breaks the low, right? And it always does so by taking the high. So it came up, it took the high, came down, and now it kind of bottlenecks in here, right? So, but anyways, other than that, Bitcoin, again, it still looks really good. I mean, all we had here was, I mean, we actually hit the 786. Now, if I put it here, we're right at the 618. So, you know, we're looking pretty good. But we're gonna want to see this. You know, maybe we have another low. Let's look at the 30-minute here. Do we have 5 waves? Yeah, I think I counted that already. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and then look at this. This is exactly what happened with Theta, right? I think something close to it. You can see how it comes up, it comes back down, and then it goes up. That looks like a flat. So all that's one wave. 4, and then you get 5, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and that would be the end of the 5th, right? So next week has to be bullish. If next week is not bullish, then something is systematically wrong. CRV, you know, it basically, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have an A, B, C. We have an A, B, C. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like we have 3, 3, and 5. This looks like an ABC. So we have 5 ABC, right? And remember, the reason I'm showing CRV is because you know, it started its correction a lot sooner than the rest of the market, which gave us a little bit of insight, because if you can imagine, like Bitcoin is like right here or right here, right? So if we just look forward, what did CRV do? It came up in 3 and then it came down to finish. So maybe that's what we get with Bitcoin. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, let's keep moving on here. So the big winner in all this, I think, is XRP. Everybody was knocking on XRP for the longest time, but now when it really counts, now XRP is actually doing pretty well, right? Because now it seems like the tables have reversed here. Because if you look, XRP hasn't even gone anywhere. It's just been in this channel here, right? So it's, you know, it's doing remarkably well. And partly why is because, you know, it didn't go on a massive run, right? So if I put like THETA on, for example, you can see, let's put that 2%. You can see both are sort of diverging. So you could see here that XRP is going up, THETA is going down. But then THETA shot way up as XR. But look at XR. THETA had bottomed here, and that's when XRP topped, right? So now XRP is going down, and now THETA is going up. So XRP has been correcting since July of last year. THETA has only been correcting since March of this year. So XRP, with all fairness, has been correcting a lot longer and has gotten beat up way more than THETA has, right? So just kind of comparing both of them. So now they both meet up, and now you can see they're going against each other. Now they're going towards each other. They meet up here, and now they're sort of splitting again and going against each other, right? So you could see now, what does that mean? That's actually good, because look at here. Here's this point and this point, and if these widen out more, then you have this point and this point, right? Which will ultimately what? They'll meet up again, and hopefully THETA can, you know, break out by then. So that leads me to the end of this video here, which is what? The weekly candle. And the weekly candle is ugly. It is horrible. It is the biggest. This is the biggest weekly candle we've had, the red candle, since back at the FTX collapse here. I mean, look how massive that is. It's huge, right? I mean, you could argue this one here, but this one's actually a lot bigger. But as long as the weekly candle doesn't close below 55.5K, I'd say we're still doing pretty good here. We're gonna want, next week we're gonna want a doji, and then the next week we're gonna want a retracement, and then maybe flagging out and then continuing higher. I mean, that's what we really want to see here. Now again, it's election year. We got craziness going on, right? But just go back to that Trump video I shared at the beginning, right? If you got to know who you are as an individual. Are you someone who needs the money now? Are you scrambling, right? Because me, I don't mind waiting, but some people can't wait, right? But to me, it's like, well, we waited this long. What's another 6 months? What's another couple years, right? I mean, at the end of the day. So I know a big audience of mine is the THETA community, and you guys are awesome. And if I'll just say this, if you believe in theta long term, there's no reason to panic right now. It doesn't feel good, right? But at the end of the day, that's when you want to buy. The best buys I've ever had in my life were the times where it felt the worst, right? So if your gut is saying, don't do it, don't buy, that's like, you kind of have to go against that emotion. And it's been actually, pretty good. So, we have, if you say this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We always reverse at 5, right? You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We reversed. Same thing here. You can kind of see it's a little bit truncated, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We kind of had this double bottom here, and then we reversed. So right now we have 5, right? And we're right back at the back test level. So as long as we hold this back test level and stay above $1, that's what we really need to do, is stay above $1. If we could stay above $1, we're going to be pretty good. I would just put a downward resistance line, put it right there, and from here to about mid-September, we should hopefully break it. So I'll leave you with this. What do we have to look forward to? Remember, we have the XRP lawsuit that hopefully should settle sometime this summer. That's a big, big thing, not just for XRP, but for all of crypto, right? Remember what happened when it pumped here, right? We had a big pump. A lot of crypto pumped as well, right? What else do we have to look forward to? We have the election to look forward to, right? That's another big thing we have to look forward to. What else do we have to look forward to? Well, we had the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF. That's still in play, and that's still something to look forward to because it's still transacting, right? It's still building. What else? The election. This is the biggest election of our lifetimes. And I don't say that lightly, right? If Kamala gets in, she's going to destroy crypto, right? Her and Elizabeth Warren, Gary Gensler. I mean, look what Gary Gensler, appointed by Joe Biden, right? They go after Coinbase, Binance, Ripple, right? I mean, and it's not going to stop there. They're going to go after Theta. They're going to go after Bitcoin. They're going to go after all of it because it's ultimately a threat to the banking system, and they're puppets of the banks. So what else do we have to look forward to? We have regulations coming, right? Remember, the election is going to happen in less than 100 days, right? And then once Trump gets in, right, hopefully they don't try to steal it. I know they're going to try to steal it, but are we going to catch them, right? That's why we need an overwhelming majority. So it's too big to rig, as they say, right? And firing Gary Gensler is another big thing to look forward to. What else? Right? Obviously the Bitcoin stockpile, right? 200,000. He's going to add that to, obviously that's what the government has seized thus far from bad people, right? So they're going to use that as a stockpile reserve. That's a good thing. That basically validates what crypto is all about. It's a hodler's game. That's what it comes down to. Who can hold the longest, right? Who can hold their breath the longest, so anytime there's blood in the streets, that's the time you got to step up to the plate, right? So if you dollar cost average, you got to have a plan, right, on dollar cost averaging. Most people spend their money too fast, and then when we get to the bottom, they don't have enough to buy, right? So like if you have $100, wait for a 618 retrace, and then put maybe 10% of that, and then 20%, and then 30%. Maybe we get down to the 618, then put 40-50%. But what if we break the low? Well, if we break the low, then I would just wait and see what happens and then reevaluate. So there's always a strategy on how to do it. But what else is there to look forward to? Did I say regulations? Yes. I'm going to say it again if I didn't say it. Regulations are going to be the biggest benefactor for crypto and for all of crypto, right? Because if you have a bill which was already passed by the House and needs to pass through the Senate, right? Maybe it doesn't happen so quick. Maybe it happens this fall, right, to sort of save face of how bad they've done so far. The Democrats, right? They want to pass something. So if we get a very positive regulation, which I think, Senator Loomis and I can't remember the other one, but they from what I've heard, did a very good job at doing this bill, right? So, and that's just the beginning. We also have even more regulation coming, but we don't want too much where it's just ridiculous, right? So if you have big institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity and all these big players, right? If they know the rules of the road, then that means they can play in the game, okay? And the only way that happens is with regulation. So yes, the prices are down, but do you think that's going to deter like somebody like Warren Buffett, right? Right? I mean, the same goes with crypto, right? The crypto market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient, right? And that's what it really comes down to. So do you think like Mark Cuban, Donald Trump, Kevin O'Leary, all these billionaires, do you think they're like, oh, crypto's dead. It broke the low, so that means it's gone forever? No. They're thinking, hey, this is an opportunity. Yes, it's going to take longer. Yes, it messed up the structure of the chart a little bit for some of the altcoins, right? I didn't even get to some of them, right? But like ADA, Hold the Low, XRP, Bitcoin, Total 3, right? But THETA was one that did break the low, and partly because THETA had such a great run, right? So the bigger up, the more down you got, right? So, but it's okay, right? It's okay because from what I see, there's, again, you got to have the conviction. There's a lot to look forward to, and if you just stay the course, right? The way I always see it, just keep working your job, keep going to work, getting paychecks, putting, not financial advice, but what I'm doing, right? Just keep going to work, get a paycheck, put 5%, 2%, 3%, whatever. And if you do that month after month after month after month, year after year after year, in 3 years, or even in 1 year, even 6 months, you're going to look at it and go, whoa, I have a lot now, right? Depending how much money you make, depending how much you save, depending how much you want to invest. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. But for me, it's essentially like, are you all in, right? Now, you never want to be all in, but you want to be all in with your conviction, right? It's all about knowing and having conviction in what you hold. And Bitcoin is the safest play, but I'm not here to play it safe, right? XRP, THETA is much more risky. But at the end of the day, they give you the best rewards, or they will eventually, in my opinion. So with that being said, it's Sunday. We got the weekly close. We'll talk more this week. Again, you can, where the subscribe button is, you can click join and join the membership. And I'll do member-only videos from time to time and explaining, right, the game plan and how to protect yourself. And it really goes more so with, trading, more so than hodling. If you're hodling, it's subjective on how you want to do it, but most part you just hold. But for those who want to sort of capitalize on getting in and getting out at the appropriate time, right, then maybe that might be a little better option for you. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. Again, it's not what we wanted to see, but it's what we got. You can't be mad about things that you have no control over, right? So, but for Bitcoin's point of view, everything is exactly how it should be. We got the 3-wave move. We're down in the retracement levels. This is it. This is do or die. This is the moment where we need to reverse. So we'll see what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday brings, especially Thursday, right? We'll see what we'll see what it brings. But until then, I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.